At work, there's always something. There's something happening behind your back, there's something happening right on front of your face. There's always someone to point fingers at you, someone to complain, someone to criticize, someone to make comments. Long before all these things stayed with me, long after the work got finished, I used to carry this back home. But I don't do that anymore. I got rid of it. And I adopted a particular way where I can get rid of all these things so that I don't carry it back home, and I'm going to share that things how I handle these situations. I'm Dr. Prakash. I'm an emergency physician. My work revolves around unpredictable moments, and this is how I did it. Criticism at workplace is very, very common. It can happen in any profession, right? And it can come through anyone. It can be through someone who you don't know, who you absolutely haven't met at all, or it can be through someone who you actually know. They can be your subordinates, your colleagues, your seniors, your mentors, or even your boss, or even your HR. Sometimes it's just noise. Sometimes they're genuine. Earlier, I used to react in a way where I used to react instantly, and I used to carry a lot of burden trying to fight out and justify myself. But I stopped doing that. I found out most of this criticism was not because of what was actually happening, because of what I did. It was because of something else. Over the years, I finally understood why these criticisms happen. They can either be very, very genuine. The second is because someone wants to establish their power and superiority over you or over that situation at that point of time. Third, it can just be a misunderstanding between two people. Earlier, whenever I was criticized, I used to get immediately angry, knowing that I was right. So I used to start arguing with the other person. So I realized that this argument led me nowhere. What happens when I started arguing with these people was I was talking about a subject of which the criticism was started for, but ultimately that subject is forgotten when the argument starts over. It's more about the superegos of the two people having that argument at that point of time. So it is no more about the subject when you get into an argument. Your anger and your superegos, they kick in, and it ends and ruins the relationship of the two people involved there. This is what I have done to stop burdening myself from being criticized or carrying that burden on my shoulders way back home. And of course, you want to stay peaceful, right? So the first thing is I stopped getting into arguments immediately. Whether I am right or wrong, I will not respond at that point of time. I will just stay calm, I will just move away from the situation, and I will just take some time to read about it or look into that matter, whether I was right or wrong. And yes, if I was right, I will not respond. I will just keep it at that, because I know I was right. So I will not get back into an argument saying I was right, so you were wrong. No, again it gets into an argument. But if I was wrong, it just took one simple effort. Send a message or an email to the particular person saying, you were absolutely right, and thank you for the update. That made a world of difference from the point where you were arguing immediately, and rather than not arguing and getting back to do them after some time. It can be few minutes later, it can be few hours later also. Most of the criticisms related to the misunderstandings was not because of the outcome that was achieved there, but rather it was because of the methods adopted to achieve that outcome. Different specialties have different ways to reach that outcome, right? So you always find that you are on the right path, whereas the other person may also be speaking something right from his perspective. And by doing this, I stopped making enemies at workplace, and I started making more friends and people who find me more receptive. So when people find you more receptive, there's more communication involved there, more valuable communication involved there. That builds the teamwork within your team and even outside the team. After all this, has criticism stopped? Has the burden stopped? No, the criticisms haven't stopped, but the burden has reduced. Because I know these criticisms come in and day out, but I know how to handle these criticisms, and I don't burden myself, because I know this is going to last a day or two, and it does not need to take away so much of my energy to drain me out my day, and I don't need to carry it back home, because these things can come, they can go, but I go on forever, right?